What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to the WWE King and Queen of the Ring post-show podcast coming to you from smarkoutmoment.com. I am your host, as always, except for the hot tags, Tony Mango, joined as always by this side, the other way, this way, that way.
I'm me. I am who I am. I'm Robert DeFelice. I'm here. Tony, you sound lovely considering you just had some dental surgery. I'm glad you're feeling better. I'm glad we're here to talk King and Queen of the Ring. It's going to be a quick one, but I'm glad to be here with you.
I'm feeling as good as I can. I've got my my pills and all my shit going on. I've got my horrible Invisalign back in, which hurts like a motherfucker. All I had to do was take it off for one day, and it feels like my entire mouth is shifting all over again. I'm like, you're fine. Like, stop moving so much. So definitely still can't talk right out of that side of my mouth. Still, I'm just eating soup. We are going to keep it a little bit short today, not only for that reason, but also because this pay-per-view sucked, kind of. And
see,
there's
I didn't
like
think
not.
It sucked.
I don't know if I'd go so much as to say it sucked. Maybe that's a little bit. It was extremely underwhelming and nothing happened.
This is a very blasé show.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I gotta even disagree with Michael in the chat saying Gunther versus Orton was good. Everything else bored me. I got a major issue to bring up about Gunther and Orton too.
I mean, I think we're both going to bring up the same issue. I think commentary brought up the same issue, so I think that might have been intentional for some silly reason.
Is my audio off, everybody? It's looking like it's really off for me right now.
Off how? Like
my audio out of sync with my mouth.
No, I'm hearing it perfect.
No, hearing it fine, but the video.
But I'm seeing it good, but I don't know if it's translating in real time.
Might be off. I don't know. This seems to have a mind of its own. Sometimes I need to go like negative 100 milliseconds. Sometimes it's positive 1,000 milliseconds. Does not seem to want to actually stick to one set thing. So we're still trying to figure that out. That's the type of thing that I always mention. If you join the marketplace over on any kind of different methods that you have, TeePublic and Redbubble when it comes to the merchandise, the Patreon, the YouTube channel membership, the thanks button, or if you are live right now and you want to take advantage of the super chats, which also makes sure that I see them in there and I'll read them out loud. The more funds we get on this, the more we can get somebody to actually run this show, and I don't have to do that and read my notes and host and do all that all at the same time and figure out why I don't have my face.
We gotta hook Smark Out Moment up with the trial of StreamYard, so we can do all video all the time.
I mean, I really like how OBS works in a lot of ways, but
yeah, but that would eliminate completely the need for OBS.
Maybe. I'm gonna tweak something here about that. I'm gonna see if
well, while you're tweaking.
Oh, I know why it's not working, right? Okay. It's because it is it's using my webcam instead of that. So we're going to
like Skype is, or
maybe it's not. I don't know. We're doing this on the fly. But yeah, maybe it isn't. Maybe it is. I don't know. I do seem a little bit off, at least. So I'm going to adjust my own advanced audio properties here. We're going to give myself a 100 and 100 millisecond delay on this. Maybe this will end up being what actually makes the difference here. So we're going to test that out. I'm going to have to go by the people in the comments in the live chat. This looks a little bit better to me, at least right now. I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit off. You guys got to let me know how it's processing for you, because I can't hear this at the same time as doing that. Maybe 100 milliseconds is the thing. Positive milliseconds. I don't know. Really quickly, though, keep it up in the chat. Keep it up as well in the Discord server. You can head on over there and, chat it up during any time of the day and week. And, it's not just necessarily right now. And we will talk about some Fantasy League stuff and all. Now the audio and video is looking fine. Definitely let me know if I made the right tweak there or if I just messed it up a little bit more. But
Peter, you're going to need to explain that comment about when my website launched. It would be on my side. I don't know. Oh, probably in the logo. That's because Tony's been very busy. He just hasn't had time to update the graphic to say "dude."
Oh, it says it. No, it doesn't.
Oh no, it does. Good for you. Look at you. Look at
No,
you.
the day that you had that, I added that.
Look
I actually
at Tony Mango. This is why you're here.
This is the second bow that I've taken in the past 24 hours. I forget
You're
what
good.
joke I made to Caroline where
And you should
I
take
bowed.
all the bows. You deserve all the things.
Technically, I'm not supposed to be bowing right now. I'm not supposed to have my head do that, but fuck it. I'll take the bows when I can.
Well, you know, what doesn't really deserve a bow is this show. I mean, they did a 2-hour kickoff. I'll be very transparent. I did not watch until the match started because what was there really to see? You know,
you are lucky that you didn't waste your time because this was entirely a waste of time. The 2-hour long kickoff to this, the countdown to whatever, the pre-show, the buy-in, the 0 hour, whatever these companies want to call these things. Every single thing that they did from 11 o'clock until 12:34 was, let's talk to Cody Rhodes in a pre-taped thing about his match. Let's have a video package about Liv Morgan. Let's have a video package about Becky Lynch. Let's have a clip of this, a clip of that. Nothing, and I mean nothing, that was said or shown was anything we haven't already seen being rehashed.
Right.
They did not even take the opportunity to take that time to do things like announce the things that they would announce a little bit later on. They didn't provide any special insight, having Big E and these other people do the pre-show panel. It was a complete waste of time for all of that up until, 94 minutes worth of this. And then leading into just the one single match, which was Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill retaining their women's tag titles over Candice LeRae and Indi Hartwell in a match that you didn't need to see. The only thing that was interesting about it, in my point of view, was the finish, which was, the whole match was pretty much, they're continuing to tell this story that Bianca Belair has a bum leg and she got worked on throughout the whole thing. Jade was like basically standing off on the side, way that she normally does in a lot of these matches. And by the end of it, Bianca, doesn't matter if she's got her messed up leg or something, she ends up being part of a double team move where Jade picks up Candice, I think it was, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Candice. She picks her up. She has like an assisted DDT for Bianca, who then, I don't know how I can do this.
So Jade has Candice in the wheelbarrow
I'll do this
position.
with my phone, and I'll do it with a gift card for Dart and stuff. Oh, now I won't do it with the gift card. I dropped it. I'll do it with my phone and my other phone, my old phone. There we go. So, maybe I won't. She kicks her up like this, and then that leads to a wheelbarrow suplex, which I forgot the name of, and I ended up having to ask Rob what that name of that was because I referred to it as kind of a German suplex originally, and then I had to adjust that. But that was cool.
That was cool. I like the gear. Listen, the Saudi Arabian gear for the women, I genuinely enjoy. I think Bianca and Jade have been doing this tag team gear pretty nicely. They had like this, I'm going to call it Barbie pink because it really was that shade of pink. And I like that a lot. I like the finish. I like that they're getting some tag team moves down. You didn't need to see it. You didn't need to see any of this kickoff show. And I think that's all you really have to say about it, Ed.
Yeah, there's nothing that you needed to see. I'd argue that you really didn't need to see anything from the whole pay-per-view. Like, if you missed it, you really didn't miss much from this pay-per-view.
I'd argue that there's some clips from this pay-per-view that will be replayed for years and years to come, but we'll talk about it.
So, champions retain, and then we start the actual pay-per-view, kind of, but we have to start with another video package and another promotional thing and all. So 10 minutes into the pay-per-view, we start the actual pay-per-view. And that is the Women's World Championship match. Becky Lynch going in as champion. I wrote down she seems to be channeling her inner Annie Lennox. Not quite the same outfit, but kind of gave me that vibe. And then immediately afterward, Liv Morgan comes out and I'm like, oh, oops, I did it again. Britney Spears.
And she literally did it again because this is what she wore at Elimination Chamber last year in Saudi.
So she's was like, yeah, I got that in the closet.
Oh, thumbs up all the way up. Liv Morgan in that "Oops, I Did It Again" gear, and she rocks it. She
played with your heart.
It felt more appropriate for this one because she's in that kind of an era where she's, maybe if we're gonna steal some lyrics from the song, she's not that innocent. She's kind of turning heel, and Becky Lynch doing the Annie Lennox. I didn't think about that. I was calling it James Bond the entire time. I'm like, okay, she's doing Bond. That's fine.
So she would have been doing Bond. What she should have done is she should have been in full Goldfinger mode. She should have had the duck on her head and been, like you peel that off and then you've got that white suit with the red flower, red carnation. I think it was one of the most iconic Bond looks. Man, I really want to just watch a Bond film. You recently watched Tomorrow Never Dies.
I watched Tomorrow Never Dies, and great movie. And it was even better the next time. And hopefully we get some news on the Bond front soon. But I thought this match was probably one of the better matches of the night.
Yeah, it was fine.
We did get during the pre-show, Dominic showed up and he told Liv, I'm here to make sure you don't win the title. Which is interesting because Dom's the only member of Judgment Day, even at the show. He does come out and appear to slide a chair to Becky Lynch, who doesn't take it, obviously. While he's distracting the ref, Liv hits a DDT on the chair. I believe she hits Oblivion after that. 1, 2, 3. I like this a lot because it's played so perfectly that he looks genuine, but also it can be like he's there with Liv because he's with Liv, and the plan went perfectly according to plan. I thought this was great. Liv also blew a kiss to the camera after this. You could be argued she was looking right at Dom when she did it. Obviously,
I liked the end of this match quite a bit because they are going to tell that story. You would assume, at the very least, that they're going to tell the story that Dom was sent out there to specifically screw over, poor choice of words, Liv Morgan.
Or accurate choice of words.
I mean, maybe behind the scenes, to cost Liv Morgan the match. And that we're going to get the split. It's going to lead to Dom and Liv and Rhea being like, hey, Dom did this, kind of betrayal. And it's going to lead to, I would assume, Liv Morgan goes in the future and maybe she has a rematch with Becky at Clash of the Castle. Maybe they just go straight to Lyra Valkyria or something. Talk about her in a little bit. But they are going to kill some time. And eventually, we know who the winner of the Queen of the Ring is. We'll talk about that in a moment too. We got to figure out something else for Liv over the next few pay-per-views. And whenever Rhea Ripley is ready to go, I think that's when they're going to pull the trigger on she splits from Dom. The whole thing of Judgment Day is ruined. I think that Dom probably at this point is leading into being fully associated with Carlito and to do something along those lines. And it's really at the very tail end of Judgment Day. And to set up a story like this, the way that they did, where it's not so obvious right now, unless you're paying attention to it, that's a much better way of doing it. Because if they would have just pulled the trigger on it right now, then that would have been like, okay, well, then where do you go from here? And I like the comment in the chat that Michael Patrick put out there. Now I want Jade to do Mayday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like the end of this match. I like that Liv is the new champion. I think that Becky won the belt because they needed to give it to somebody. And if they wanted to drag that out a little bit, Becky deserves to have another title reign. Why not? So Liv gets a better win than if she would have just won it on Monday Night Raw. They can tell the story going forward. That's going to be fun. And even though that definitely cost me the win of the fantasy league, I'm fine for it because my team sucks anyway now.
Real quick on the fantasy league. Callum and I had the same picks. Tony differed by picking Becky, and I'm like, shit, Tony's going to win. So once that happened, I was very excited. And spoiler, I did win fantasy league for this one. We'll get into that after we talk about the rest of the show. But yeah, this was a really solid match, and I think they work well together. I think this was great for Liv. I think that belt looks way better on her than the SmackDown Women's Championship. I never liked any of those belts, I'll say it again. I'm glad that we're away from that era. And yeah, thumbs up for this segment.
Overall, this segment definitely did its job. I'm not going to go back and rewatch that match by any means, but I think that they did fine enough.
Maybe one day, if WWE uploads it isolated, maybe one day I'll be bored and I'll say, hey, let's watch that match.
Maybe. Who would your dream opponents for Gunther be? We'll talk about that a little bit later, I guess.
Yeah.
Custody of Dominic ladder match, yeah. Let's move over to the Intercontinental Championship triple threat match. That was Chad Gable, Bronson Reed, and the champion Sami Zayn. Otis, the only one that accompanied Chad Gable, which makes sense. Not only did
Maxine was out there, and Maxine looked phenomenal. He sent her to the back right away. You probably just weren't looking.
Oh, I was going to say, I don't remember seeing her.
Looked phenomenal, and I wanted to shout that out real quick. But yes, Otis did go down to the ring with Chad Gable.
Then I need to change the thing that Maxine wasn't there. I did not see that at all. Okay, there you go. I changed it. But Otis was the only one that helped with the match on Monday Night Raw. So he's the only one that he would potentially be okay with and go help me out again. And he sets this up by saying, remember what we talked about when the time is right. And you see Otis is kind of upset about that because he doesn't want to cheat. And the match itself, not specifically a whole lot much to talk about. There were some good moves here and there. And the Blue Thunder Bomb, of course, is impressive when you see him, Sami Zayn do that to Bronson Reed. We had the Sunset Flip Power Bomb spot. It was good. It's competitive enough. And they led to a point where Chad Gable's got Sami Zayn. He's holding him. Otis goes for a clotheslines Chad Gable. That takes him out. Sami gets a haluva kick, beats Bronson Reed, something he hasn't been able to do yet. Chad Gable's mad at Otis. Otis inadvertently ended up not helping, but actually hurting Gable in the process. So that's going to probably tell that story that we've been talking about, where he just boots him out of the Alpha Academy, replaces him with the Creed brothers. Again, good stuff when it comes to storytelling. And I think that the match was, fine enough. Overall, a thumbs up, even though it was something that, again, I'm not going to be like, you got to go see this match. And if you missed it, oh my God, you missed the classic or anything. But it's fine enough.
Yeah, nothing surprising here. It does lead to Gable eventually winning this title through the help of the Creed brothers, I believe, because he still hasn't pinned Chad, and Chad did help him get ready for Gunther. So we're getting there eventually,
I think either it's going to be both IC title and tag titles, or it'll be just the tag titles. But Creed brothers are going to win those tag titles, I think, from Awesome Truth. I'm not sold entirely that it's going to be both of that and Chad Gable winning the Intercontinental title, but that would be my preference, because
I think at this point, Chad Gable needs to win the Intercontinental Championship.
I'm hoping so. Yeah. I'd much rather him do that than for just somebody random to beat Sami Zayn. Even though there are some good people, like Braun Breaker beating Sami Zayn, sure, but Braun Breaker can win that title a little bit later on this year. I think Chad Gable should probably win this at either at Clash at the Castle or on Monday Night Raw prior to it. Just cut to the chase, not down.
That's a different university.
Yeah. I got to make sure that I don't smile that far because I got a cut right here. That hurt. That's great.
Why so serious?
Yeah.
Sorry.
How did I get a cut here when they were doing all that shit back here? I don't know.
Tell me how you got these scars.
They just reached a point where they were just like, screw this guy. Which is funny because I already have a scar there. Story time with Tony Mango. You know why I have a scar right here at the corner of my mouth?
Why is that?
Because when I was a kid, my next door neighbor was like, hey, I've been taking karate classes. Do you want to see how I can break a board? Hold one up. And I went, okay. And he broke it and it went right there. So I was, 6.
I mean, shout out to the kid for proving it,
He broke the board. You want to know how I got this scar that's in? I can't even really see it on here. On the corner right around here.
Is that when you fell in here?
That is from a switchblade comb.
Nice. Angela Parker really got violent with you.
It had a little metal thing to it. Somebody went to grab it from me, and I was just like, So those are two of my funnier scars. We'll see if this ends up being one. But I gotta make sure I don't go too much, which I won't do when it comes to the propaganda segment that immediately followed this, because it was another one of those things where they were just like, you see all the advancements that women are doing in sports in Saudi Arabia, and it's like, well, I don't care.
I was making lunch. I did not see this.
Well, now you can tell us what was for lunch.
Well, I had some rice, a little rice bowl with some leftover carne asada and some cheese thrown in. And
can't go wrong with that combination. Come on.
Yeah.
Carne asada. Queen of the Ring tournament finals were the following segment after this whole bathroom break segment. And that was Nia Jax going over Lyra Valkyria, or at least going over and crashing down on top of Lyra Valkyria, because, man, she flattened her. That's like that Yokozuna clip where I don't remember who the jobber was, but he just like lands.
He kicks his legs out from underneath and just squishes him. Look, I got to give him credit. I was very worried about this match. They're not I'm not over the moon about them in the ring most days. But they had fun here, and this was a different match we've never seen before, likely won't see again for a while. But that finish was perfect. Nia is going for the bonsai. She misses. Lyra is going for a power bomb, and good lord, Nia just decides to let go of the ropes, full weight, crashing down, perfectly lands to where her arms are immediately crossed. And she's just pinning Lyra. I thought that was fantastic. This is her Mabel run. I said it when it happened. Triple H crowned Nia as he also crowned the King of the Ring.
She was very emotional. And
Nia got down on one knee, took the crown. The other person did not take the crown. Hug Triple H. She's emotional. I thought this match was great. I think this sets up a fine summer. I think this easily gets us through the return of Charlotte Flair and onto the road to WrestleMania. I think this is a perfect win. I didn't love the match, but I thought it was really fun. And that bonsai is going to be played for the rest of eternity in Nia Jax video packages. That was gnarly.
That is one of the better ones that she's done. And you know what I'm really embarrassed about is I did not realize that her name of her finisher, the Annihilator,
is Nia.
Is Nia in there until we were having this conversation, about when I said about her falling and crashing down. I was just like, and the Annihilator. Oh, the amount of times that I've written that by now, I should have gotten it, but I think we're going to have a commercial break actually in a second, so we'll be right back if that's the case. But in the meantime, the ads that are being inserted right now, if you're not on Peacock Premium Plus on YouTube or whatever, still trying to figure out the better way to do that. So
are they just inserting ads into live videos now?
Well, it's like I have the option of letting them automatically insert it or me manually doing it, and I'm doing too many other things, so I chose the random insertion thing, which I think is happening right now. Of course, I don't know if it's going to tell me if we are back from an ad, so we're just going to assume that that's not the case, or maybe it already happened. I don't know, but hopefully that's earning some money. I could fucking use it. But yeah, I like that. I like more so that Nia won this than Lyra, and at the same time, I'm not at all interested in Nia Jax versus Bayley being the match at SummerSlam. So I'm kind of hoping that something happens in the meantime and Bayley drops that title to somebody else. But the setup of SmackDown just feels like it's a stall right now. And I'm not really digging that vibe. But in the same regard, I don't think that if Lyra Valkyria would have won, that I would have been like, oh, cool. I can't wait to see Lyra Valkyria versus Liv Morgan in 2.5 months. So I still don't like this idea that they just said the winner gets a title match at SummerSlam, knowing that there's 2 pay-per-views in the meantime. I think like that despite the fact that that's like history and that it used to be prior to it, it used to be the one that was right before SummerSlam, and we didn't have Clash at the Castle and Money in the Bank in the meantime. If it would have just been, Money in the Bank, There's one pay-per-view in the meantime, a little bit easier. But I'm not interested in Bayley's title reign. I've said that before she even won it. And I'm not, the biggest fan of Nia Jax, where it's like, anybody she goes up against, I'm going to be super interested. So I don't know what I'm going to be really super pumped about for the next few months or so. But I do think that Nia Jax winning Queen of the Ring, sure, she's maybe not going to necessarily win that championship anymore. This will be one of those things she can hang her hat on. And she gets some heat out of it. So I'm cool with that. Lyra Valkyria ends up looking pretty strong by going through this whole tournament. Gives her a little bit of a boost without going too far to the point that people go, oh, okay, now we're getting her shoved down our throat and all. And, fine enough.
She deserves something. Like, she came back. She's doing better. She deserves something.
Not when it comes to the finish of that match, fantastic. When it comes to the finish of the King of the Ring tournament final, Gunther and Randy Orton go out there. They have a match that, a match is fine enough.
Callum would not have liked this match, I don't think.
No.
This is a lot of Randy Orton putting people in headlocks. This is a lot of stalling. I thought it was great. I thought they worked well together. I was
underwhelmed.
A little underwhelmed. But when you get to the finish, I guess before the finish, Randy Orton goes for his scoop slam, hurts his knee. He's got the bad back. They've been telling that story. He had 2 RKOs. And Gunther rolled out. I think he rolled under the ropes for the first one. And in the second one, Randy's, I can't get him. But he finally gets the pin. 1, 2, kick out. Randy sells the back. Crucifix pin. Randy's shoulder is all the way up off the fucking ground.
I mean, way up. Like, it's...
like Hulk Hogan... main event 88, fake referee just clearly counting the shoulder down despite the fact that Hogan's going like this, like all the way up off the ground. And I can't tell if Randy fucked up, if the referee fucked up, and they were supposed to let Gunther hit a lariat and a power bomb, which would have made more sense, or what happened here. But it was very clear his shoulder was up off the ground.
Way up to the point that when they tried to do the recap for it, they specifically did a different angle of it that tried to mask it more. And in that angle, they can still show that the shoulder is way up.
Yeah,
because Corey Graves
was so up.
Mm-hmm. And Corey Graves is like, I'd like to get another angle of that. And it's like, well, every angle is going to show that this is way up. And they didn't call any other attention to it. It wasn't like the commentary team was like, well, Randy Orton's shoulder was up. That might be something that we have to revisit in the future or anything. No, they just acted like, I don't know. And then they moved on as if it was perfectly fine. And, I was underwhelmed with the match itself. I was underwhelmed with a lot of elements to it. Randy Orton tries 3 attempts to throw Gunther through the commentary table. The table doesn't break. Talk about craftsmanship is something that I wrote down. I wanted more out of the match, and then for the finish to be the way that it was, took the wind out of the sails even more. So very disappointed in that. Gunther doesn't have anywhere near the same celebration as Nia Jax does. He just takes the crown and he's just like, whatever.
Uses the crown, which I laughed at because Hunter has told the story many times that Vince wanted him to wear the robe, the crown, and the scepter, and he broke every single bit so that he did not have to wear the crown. And Gunther was just like, here's the crown, your crown. Like, he just refused to put it on. And I'm all right with it. Nia, I think, is going to play with it a little more. I said, Gable run. Michael Cole, this is great, said he is now the King General. And I said, oh, fuck, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And he now goes to SummerSlam to face the World Heavyweight Champion. Special news from Triple H.
Before they do that, so this is even funnier. They announced that Crown Jewel's coming back for November 2nd. And they're like, hey, next time we're going to be here, Crown Jewel, whatever. By the way, everybody, we still have another match coming up. Cody Rhodes is going to go up against Logan Paul for the WWE Championship. But first, we have breaking news from Paul Levesque. And Caleb Braxton's backstage with Triple H, who goes, Yeah, I do have some breaking news. Drew McIntyre has been just cleared to compete. Everybody goes, and it's like, and he will face Damian Priest, and I'm making that match official right now. And they're all like, ah, and he goes, for June 15th at Clash of the Castle in Glasgow. Like, everybody just goes silent, and then
they thought they were getting a world title match.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know why they thought that was a good way to do that, because you can't tell people like, and we're gonna make that match official right now for another venue. No, you don't word it that way.
This was fine. You know, you've gotten a lot, and I'll say this: they do get a lot. Yeah, was this card great? No, but you couldn't tell me otherwise, because they were loving Randy's theme song. They chanted "This is awesome" for like everything, so they were enjoying the show they got.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't need it for this, but I think that the much better wording would have been like, all right, we do have breaking news. Drew McIntyre has been cleared to compete, and we decided that we will have that match at Clash of the Castle, whatever. You don't say, and I'm going to make that official right now, because people are trained at this point to hear Adam Pearce come out and be like, and that match is official, and it's happening right now. Like, you know, that's the wording that you use that for. So botch on that part. Of course, they don't care. They're just like, boo, and then they go straight to the next thing. I'll give them the
pass here, nor should they, because they've given Saudi Arabia a lot. And great match for Clash of the Castle. Drew's finally going to win the world title, and he's finally going to keep it, and it's in Scotland. And
I don't think so.
You really think CM Punk's just going to fuck up again?
If you go to Smark Out Moment right now, you'll see my current prediction for this, because I had to update it immediately, of course, because that's the way that I am. I think that CM Punk's going to screw him over again. By this point, Drew McIntyre is going to be completely livid. Maybe CM Punk's going to be ready to go for Money in the Bank or SummerSlam, probably more so SummerSlam. And then we're going to get, depending on what they do with this Braun Strowman thing, I don't know why they're setting that up and then they're not really doing anything. But the Damian Priest and Finn Balor thing or whatever at Money in the Bank. And then I think we're going to get Gunther and Damian Priest at SummerSlam. And it's going to lead into Gunther winning the championship. And the
way too early of a prediction, but what do we do with Gunther at WrestleMania?
That's tough, because wait, let me bring up the
because there's Rollins still has to come back at some point.
It could be Rollins.
Punk.
I mean, I think that Rollins and Punk at Mania makes the most sense.
At this point, if they can hold out long enough, it could be Punk and Drew.
For Mania, you mean?
Yeah, if they hold out long enough, depending on Punk's health.
I think that they're going to get Punk and Drew for SummerSlam in a non-title match. It could very well be that it's like Drew McIntyre versus Gunther at SummerSlam, but that to me just seems kind of weird too. I think Damian Priest is more so what they're going to go for, but
well, we need a babyface. Somebody has to turn babyface in all of this.
At a quick glance at the Raw roster, there's not a lot of options that I would think immediately goes for Gunther, because Braun Breaker's a heel right now. Maybe they turn him babyface in the meantime, and he ends up getting that title shot. I think that that's kind of asking a lot, though. I think that maybe they want to move somebody around or something, because I can't picture Ricochet doing that. I can't picture Sheamus being in that spot. I can't picture Ilya Dragunov winning the Royal Rumble and fighting Gunther.
Every now and again, though, they do have a Shinsuke Nakamura win.
Can't see that happening at Mania, though.
Where it's just a guy, and it's like, hey, but you like the AJ Styles Shinsuke Nakamura match.
Yeah,
it could be Ilya Gunther at Mania. If they have enough underneath, they could just be like, hey, here's this match.
Could be, yeah.
Because you got Roman, you got Rock, you got a lot of puzzle pieces in play right now. So,
and I could be totally wrong. It could end up being Drew McIntyre beats Damian Priest, and then we just get Drew McIntyre versus Gunther, and we end up getting Gunther doesn't win the title at SummerSlam, and then we move on, and the match at WrestleMania for the championship is Seth Rollins against CM Punk. Or
at least there's things we can play with here. That I always prefer that, as opposed to, like, I don't know,
that it has to be Cody Rhodes versus The Rock, and you just
or
killed
like it
time.
has to be Cody versus Roman. Like
Mhm.
that curtailed so much in the last 16 months, where it was just like, doesn't matter, gotta get to that Cody Roman match.
Guy 123 in the chat saying Gunther versus Lashley would be great. I mean, you can play around with that.
Guy 123 also mentioned his dream matches for Gunther. He mentioned Kenta Kobashi, Chris Benoit,
Vader, Masawa, the Giant,
it's like Big Show, like
WCW Giant.
Big Show, I think would have been a lot of fun once upon a time. All those that you mentioned are great. Masawa, obviously rest in peace, would have been great. Angle, would have been a great match for Gunther. Bret Hart. I did this in my fantasy league, not fantasy, mock draft one time. I did Taker versus Gunther. Taker would have been amazing. As far as active, anybody active that you really want to see against Gunther?
I mean, I definitely want to see Braun Breaker versus Gunther.
I can't believe they wasted that on his last NXT match.
Yeah, and by now they've both gotten better. They both are more established, so that's definitely going to be higher.
I'd like to see Shinsuke turn back the clock and wrestle.
Get Shinsuke from when he first popped up in NXT.
Yeah, I'd like to see that match.
I'd like to see. I'd like to see the Bobby Lashley match. I think that's got some potential behind it.
They would have done that, but then they changed from Raw versus SmackDown to War Games.
I think AJ Styles, the person you can really count on.
Keep an eye on him, because he
doesn't have a whole lot of time left. Apparently,
he's doing a story. I heard that promo and I went, Money in the Bank, maybe that could be a fun one.
Could be.
As you can see, because we're talking about anything else, not a whole lot happened on this interview.
And then by that point, it was already the Undisputed WWE Championship match, which
Logan Paul. And I thought, by the way, Logan Paul has yet to have a bad match.
So they start this off with the special guest ring announcer, Ibrahim Al-Hajjaj, who I remember they had before.
What does he do again?
He's like a comedian, I think.
Okay.
Hell if I know. I don't even know people that are popular in the United States. I depend on my wife to tell me who is like. She'll be like, "Oh, you hear the what happened with JoJo Siwa?" And I'm like, "Who the fuck's JoJo Siwa?"
Yeah, I was surprised that you had to be told about who JoJo Siwa was.
Hell, I do not pay attention to pop culture. Don't tell the people that I write for about pop culture. But especially don't know when it comes to Saudi Arabia and pop culture. So he might be hilarious. I don't know. I've never seen him do anything that I laughed at, especially here. But it took a while into this match for me to notice. And I'm curious if you noticed it, if not around this time when, that the Prime logo was not in the ring. There you go.
Wait. You're right. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
What's the deal with that?
They had said it was going to be an every premium live event going forward.
Did Saudi say up yours, not at our show? Like, what? Is it because they can't buy Prime in Saudi? Is it useless to promote?
I have no idea.
I mean, Logan works at the company, so it's not like, I know it's not just his company.
Right.
But first of all, didn't you notice?
Yeah.
Until you just said it right then and
because
there.
it's like, it just looked the way that it should be, which is to not have that in the ring.
Right. That's really interesting. I'm going to run through some highlights here. Logan had a great match. He did a wonderful frog splash with the best Lee fitting shot I've seen to date, where the camera just spins around him as he's drinking the Prime, does the spit take like Triple H, does the Undertaker throat slash, and then hits the frog spot. This is a great showing for Logan. Cody had some fun where he did the Cody cutter from the barricade on top of the table. Didn't budge again. These tables were really solid. Corey Graves looked really pissed off with Logan throughout the entire thing.
They argued when they reached a point where somebody from the crowd, a plant, was like interfering. Cody Rhodes throws him over, leads to a distraction. Brass knuckles are handed to Logan Paul, who works on Cody's ribs throughout the whole match. So he punches him in the ribs again and all. And then there's this big argument with the commentary team and Logan Paul, and they're like, hey, you said you weren't going to do that and everything. Like, yeah, Corey Graves and Michael Cole were very anti-Logan Paul in here. And, yeah, it killed
very
some time.
weird. I was like, okay, Corey, are you going to come out of retirement for this? Is this the one?
For a Logan Paul match? Like, yeah, of all things.
Okay. And solid match. Cody does end up just getting the win with the crossroads, but not before Logan. They bumped the ref with, I think, a stinger splash from Cody. Logan goes for the knuck shot. He's like, yeah. And somebody trips him. And the place pops. And I'm like, Kevin Owens? Somebody? And it's the guy whose name I have already forgotten.
Abraham Al-Hajjaj.
Abraham Al-Hajjaj. And I'm like, what? I don't care about this. And he's like, you said you wouldn't do it. What? Why is this such a big deal to you people? He's a heel. Anyway, doesn't hit him. Gets the crossroads. 1, 2, 3. Solid match from both competitors. Suffered from the thing that a lot of Roman Reigns matches suffered from, which is nobody breathing thought, oh, Logan's gonna win.
Right. And this whole thing with the United States title not being involved and all that sealed even more that it was just going to be like, all right, well, Cody is going to just win at some point, and in the meantime, let's see if they have a great match. Wasn't as good of a match as I was hoping, to be honest. I was a little bit disappointed in that, but they had a fine enough match, and fine enough is a way that I could write up a lot of this. So they're really pushing this one thing, though, that we talked about a little bit, but they did it again here. Cody Rhodes has to stop being a fucking fool of a character, because this guy, he spent the entire year not wanting to fight Roman Reigns. He went out of his way to not be in the Money in the Bank ladder match.
Yeah.
He partnered up with people that were like, yeah, why would you trust Brock Lesnar? Of course he's going to F5 you. And he eventually wins the Royal Rumble, and he just gives up his title shot for The Rock. Like a complete idiot. Wins the title and all that. The first thing that they have after this is the whole backlash thing, and he kind of sounds a little bit stupid in some of the build up to that and all. And then they do this thing where it's like, okay, well, you don't have to put the United States title on the line. And then in this match, he ends up waving the referee off because he doesn't want to win by a count out. So they're really trying to do this whole like textbook babyface old school thing with Cody, but he's just coming off like an idiot. And I do not like that that's happening already. And that there's people that are like, oh, I'm already tired of Cody Rhodes. And, you can't have a babyface champion without people immediately hating it. And then the idea that like he's pushed down your throat and all this, and I'm sick of the story and blah, blah, blah. So you already have those critics. Don't give them another reason to complain and just be like, oh, and the champion's a moron. So I'd like to see them stop doing that and figure out another way for Cody to be the underdog babyface champion without being a dipshit about it. Doesn't seem like they're going to do that anytime soon, though. And also doesn't seem like anytime soon we're going to get anything with the Wyatt 6 or whatever, because could have ended this pay-per-view with something like that. And instead it's just like, see you later, everybody.
Almost that, because they lingered for a minute. So I was almost like, is it now? But it's coming before SummerSlam, I think.
I mean, if everything's just going to be wait until SummerSlam, why should I care about Clash and
or maybe
Money in the Bank?
Well, I mean, in terms of the Wyatt 6, I think there's a lot.
But I mean, like even the King and Queen of the Ring title shots and all, like.
Yeah, but I think you care about Clash because is this Drew's moment? I think they're going to lean heavy into the hometown people because I think Piper's getting a shot. I think maybe
don't care.
Maybe Alba. Maybe I can't say you should care about. Look, I think Kaylee Ray is phenomenal. I don't know how they dropped the ball, but I think they will give you reasons to care. But you're right with Cody. They need to stop being an idiot, and they need to give you a reason to care about Cody Rhodes going forward.
Yeah, so I was underwhelmed with almost everything that happened here. And the pay-per-view just kind of goes off, and I'm like, well, at least it's not 6 o'clock like it said that it would be, because this was listed as a 7 hours.
Like, what is this?
Yeah, and I'm like, there's no way that this is a 7-hour show. So that's King Queen of the Ring. We have a new queen, Nia Jax. We have a new king, General of Gunther. We have
Raw. I always said Rollins. We have new women's world champion.
We have
a deal.
You know,
what's his name?
Ibrahim Al-Hajjaj.
Abraham Al-Hajjaj. We have him apparently.
Your celebrity guest moment of the year, I guess. I don't know. And we also have you winning the fantasy league.
You do have me winning the fantasy league, and that feels good, guys, because I got my ass handed to me for like all of the last 2 seasons. And I decided to double the points of Gunther, Solo Sikoa, which he better start wrestling again, and Liv Morgan.
Makes sense.
I cut Akam from my team because I put him on the team solely because I thought they were going to give him the NXT tag titles, but they didn't. And I have traded Sheamus, who's done nothing but lose for the past couple of weeks, for Tony D'Angelo, the current NXT Heritage Cup champion. Maybe he's the Italian Heritage Cup champion. I think that's what he's going for. But that's the score so far. I did win. Tony, I believe you made some moves as well.
I didn't quite yet. I look at my team and I'm like, I gotta drop.
Yeah, what
like 5 different people.
You've got like Wyatt.
I've got Bo Dallas, Bobby Lashley, and Jacob Fatu that are all in negative points.
By the way, I keep calling him Wyatt. He at this point, if I say Wyatt, I'm obviously referring to
Bo Wyatt.
To Bo Ray Wyatt.
Bo Ray Wyatt.
I keep telling people that I'm gonna make it a thing.
Yeah, I don't know for sure who I'm gonna end up dropping out of that. Because I also am not feeling a lot of the other people on my team. Like John Evans isn't doing all that much.
He's somebody you should keep. In the same way that I want to keep Jada Parker. I genuinely believe Jada Parker might be the NXT Women's North American Champion. If not the first, then the second. So I'm going to keep her to see where she goes. Callum made some changes. He swapped out Tyler Bate for Lyra Valkyria.
Damn, I was going to pick her up.
And he cut Asuka as well because Asuka's injured and was costing him some points.
So I'm looking at this now. I mean, do I drop Lashley? Do I drop Bo? Or do I drop... So I got Becky, Braun, Tama Tonga, Jacob Fatu, who I'm not willing to drop Jacob Fatu yet. At this point, he's losing me points, but he's going to pop up at some point. So
yeah, that's the approach I'm taking with CM Punk.
I'm more than likely... I mean, I'll probably make the decision right now as I'm saying it.
I mean, you could also drop Andrade.
Andrade's not doing anything. Like... it's hard to really judge anybody that's left as being like worthwhile because it's like, well, Carlito's going to pop up, but like, is he going to win anything? Probably not. Karrion Kross is going to pop up potentially even twice a week, but
Nathan Fraser.
Yeah, but they could be losing those tag titles at
They do have them. Dominic is guaranteed appearance points.
At this point, yeah, the appearance points might end up being worth it more than anything else because I thought that they weren't going to be using him every week.
You can pick up scripts.
Yeah, that ain't happening. That sure as hell ain't happening. I am debating.
If you want to go my route with Jada Parker, I'm just picking people that the NXT universe is falling over themselves for. Jasmine Nix is the latest in that line.
Let's see. I know I'm either going to drop Bo or Lashley or Javon. Javon's probably not the best move. Chen? I think I'm probably going to have to just be like, screw it. It's not going to be the biggest thing in the world when it happens anyway. So I'm going to actually message Callum now. I'm dropping Bo Dallas. Because Bobby Lashley, I don't know when he's going to come back, but at least he might wrestle more. Bo, for all I fucking know, he's going to cut promos and just be Uncle Howdy and not do anything.
Who are you going to pick up?
And I'm picking up... Is it between 2 people? Either I pick up... I'm going to let potentially the chat decide. Who do you guys think I should pick up? Should I pick up Tonga Loa? Or do you think I should pick up Dominic Mysterio? Those are the 2 I'm debating about.
I'm mad that I didn't pick up Tonga Loa. See, I'm too NXT focused sometimes because I actually watch the show. I could have thought that's Tonga Loa, who, seems like he's going to be a hit every single time. You know who you could pick up as well? Joe Coffee.
Not much of a coffee fan.
Are you a tea person?
I don't like tea either. We're back to that iced tea discussion, and I don't even really love iced tea all that much. I love brisk and Nestea, but not the biggest fan of regular
I used to love me some. Remember those claymation commercials?
That's brisk, baby.
Love them.
We're gonna go Tongaloa. There you go. Tongaloa is getting picked up in place of Bo, so I'm going Tonga Low instead of Bo. There you go. That's as close as I can get to.
I hope that I'm still able to pick up. I hope that I'm still winning and able to pick up Ripley when she comes back, because then that'll be some points. A points maker for somebody.
It's all going to depend on who can get that first switch when it comes to her, and when it comes to CM Punk, and when it comes to.
Now he said I won the time by a minute.
Yeah.
Now I wonder if that's because it was closer to his, but he went over, or I wonder if it's because
I think you had the longest time.
Like I went under a minute because I had the longest.
Yeah.
Because I had more faith in the matches going a little longer than you guys did.
Which I think that the rule's supposed to be whoever is the closest without going over, but
without going over. So he probably went over.
Well, if you had the longest, he couldn't have, unless.
Well, yeah, if it went over his 27, and it just sort of happened where it landed on 28 minutes, it would have been me because you were already eliminated.
Yeah, but you had like 32, right?
Yeah, I had 32.
But you would have been way over the 27, though.
Yeah, that's true. I'm gonna actually Wikipedia it and see. Well, cage match. I don't know what Callum uses.
Yeah,
cage match.
He might even not use the closest without going over rule. I don't remember for sure. But,
so Randy and Gunther was 21:50, and Nia and Lyra was about 9:38. So
that was 30 plus. So yeah, you had about a minute or so over his limit, and that pushed you to be a little bit closer to it. Then
All right, see, guys, I told you, play with your brain this time around. I wish I could make those changes in my actual life, but I just go, I'm gonna be smarter now, and it just immediately
and then it just happens. Yeah. But that is the breakdown as far as what I can think of that we can talk about for King and Queen of the Ring. We do have another pay-per-view coming up tomorrow, which is going to be AEW Double or Nothing. I don't know how we're necessarily going to be covering that. More than likely, we'll have a post-show afterward. I'm assuming Rob's probably not going to be able to join us. He's probably doing the press conference stuff. Probably be Callum and I. Looking forward to a lot of that show. Probably going to be exhausted as well. I haven't been getting much sleep lately because I have to keep waking up and taking these stupid pills. But in the meantime, remember everybody that you can help us out in so many different ways here, especially because I just got an email that I'm not a big fan of, where money is going to be even tighter now.
No.
We'll talk about that after this. Can you do a Q&A? Q&A of for the chat right now, or
like a mailbag? Or do you want to do a Q&A right now? We can do that.
If you have any questions to do right now in the meantime, I'm going to quickly toss out plugs in the meantime, but we'll answer a couple questions if that's the case, especially if it's the super chat. But yeah, Redbubble and TeePublic for merchandise, Patreon, YouTube channel membership, get access to the Darkcast tier, the Pick Your Poison tier, $1 a month tier. I would love a $900 plus a month so I can balance out the money that I'm not going to be making, it seems.
I would also. Okay, we're going to talk about that. Transparently, we're kind of in the same boat because I would also like a $900 plus a month tier because I also kind of need to make up some losses. It's just I've been sitting on the losses since December and they've really added up. Look, like I said, it's Smark Out Moment. I'm very transparent with this community. It is a lot more intimate here. So yeah, I would love all the help you could get. If you go to my social media at Dude Felice, if you go to my Twitter, if you go to my website, dudefelice.com, you'll see the link tree. It's where you can follow me. It's where you can find my work. It's where you can find my Cash App as well. Just saying, if you wanted to. And yeah.
You can find my link tree at amangotree.com or anthonymango.com. They all redirect to the same exact thing. So follow those different accounts that you see there. Hit the share button on any of them. Pass them around. I always say it's completely free to hit the like button on this video that you're watching right now, or if you're listening to the audio only streams or something like that, give us a rating or something on like Apple Podcasts, or, you know, boost us around on Spotify or something. You know, anything like that helps quite a bit. And we might be very much in the capacity very soon where I'll be on camera for this. I don't want to be fully transparent, but there is a very, very good chance that Smark Out Moment is no longer a thing by the end of this year. And it is going to depend on getting support. It sounds ridiculous, I know, to so many people that are like, oh, you should just be doing everything for free because it's YouTube or whatever. Let's face it, everybody. I cannot dedicate all the time that I do, which I spend a lot of time creating graphics, making things run on here, writing up articles. I get bombarded every time somebody potentially turns heel or babyface. Why didn't I update it on 3 different pages? I can't dedicate the time to do that if I need to try to figure out another means of income. And I've been doing this for a long time. We've been doing this. The website's been around since 2009. We are probably in a situation where it's shit or get off the pot. And if you enjoy Smark Out Moment, there are multiple different ways to help out. And not every single one of them is even money based, but I'm going to be that type of guy. When I see that most of our videos get maybe 1 like on YouTube, and then they also tend to get a dislike or 2, that doesn't help. And I know that it's annoying to hit the like button. It takes 2 seconds. If you are listening to us and you are not subscribed, you do realize that that doesn't help with the YouTube algorithm, right? And we are probably shadow banned because YouTube doesn't like pro wrestling, and we are not popular enough to overcome that shadow ban. So I'm going to need one of 2 things, preferably both, but very, very soon we're going to need to make decisions when it comes to this. If you do not want the hot tags to be hidden behind a paywall, donate $1 a month. If we get enough people to donate $1 a month, that will stay exactly where it is. And if you really genuinely think all the stuff on the website for Smark Out Moment and Fanboys Anonymous and the YouTube channel for Fanboys Anonymous and all the Smark Out Moment YouTube channel stuff, multiple episodes a week, if you think that all of that combined is not worth $1 a month, then doesn't that already mean there's no point in me continuing to do this? Because then that means I have not put out a product that is worth even $1 a month, and over the course of 2 YouTube channels, multiple podcasts, and 2 websites. And if that's the case, because I'm not going to bother anymore.
I'll jump in here because I'm right there with you on 92% of these podcasts since 2018. Mm-hmm. So that also is indicative of, you know, me, and it feels like,
why would you bother to create to do things on Twitch, or why would you bother to create your own podcast?
The reason Twitch isn't a thing is because, like, I kind of thought I have no ego. If you know me slightly, you know I have no ego, but like getting only a viewer on Twitch when it's like, hey, I'm on Fightful literally every single day of the week making new content. Literally every single day. If I can't get more than a single viewer on Twitch, then I'm probably not going to do that. Now, there's ways around that, and I have considered a lot of that, but I'll be, again, I guess we're in the transparent era of this podcast, but I tweeted today that, hey, things have been really bad for me since at least January. It's been a really heavy downward slope, and I'll be transparent like Tony. A lot of that does boil down to financially. Mm-hmm. You notice I no longer say at the end of these podcasts, find my work on WrestleZone. There's a reason for that. I was made redundant, as the kids say, back in December, and guys, that loss does hurt.
Mm-hmm. And I know money's tight for everybody, so it's one of those things where people go, well, why should we give you any kind of money? Well, if you enjoy the content, totally that's what it is.
But at the same time, we have to, cast the net out there, because
you gotta do what you gotta do. And a lot of people think that, well, just because this is a pastime, that should stay a pastime, whatever. But you got to figure out the amount of time that you can dedicate to this.
For me, not for Tony, not for Callum, obviously, but for me, there will not be another night without professional wrestling until next Sunday. Because there's Double or Nothing, Raw, NXT, Dynamite, Ring of Honor, TNA, SmackDown, Collision again.
Right. The only thing that's different for me out of that is I don't watch Ring of Honor. So that's the situation we're in right now. You have to
make decisions, and I know we're going a bit long on this, but it's like it's worth talking about because, well, Tony kind of hit me over the head there with the idea of, hey, maybe by the end of this year we're just not doing the website. That's
to be perfectly honest, that's a projection that might end up being far further along than even by the end of this year. There might not be a Smark Out moment by the end of the month.
Again, it's sort of like I'm getting hit with the news as you guys are, but again, if you
I'm through a lot of changes going on right now in a lot of different ways, not just wisdom teeth, but there are a lot of things happening that factor in all this stuff. And I've always tried to be very transparent with everybody that's listening. So when I had, for instance, 10 plus years ago, when my dad passed away, it was like, oh, let's do a podcast and do it like whatever about that and whatever. When I had strep throat, I did a podcast, with the wisdom teeth thing or whatever like that. I'm telling you now because this is the type of thing that you would get in some kind of a channel update video from other people. And it comes down to, if you want Smark Out Moment to continue and you do not have the means to help out on the monetary side of things, which I understand is the case for a lot of people. Even $1 a month to me, though, it seems like that's kind of crazy. But at the same time, let's just assume that maybe that's not the case. If you also feel like it is not worth the time to hit the like button on here and not post this and share it on social media or something like that, Facebook, Discord servers, Reddit, whatever, if 10 seconds worth of effort or $1 a month is not worth it, it is not worth Smark Out Moment continuing.
And I'll say this because, Tony and I talk all the time. Something that is completely free to do as well. If you just leave a comment saying like, wow, I really enjoyed this, that is the difference between maybe we just stop now to, okay, we'll do it next week.
That could be the difference.
Those
too.
Conversations I can say we've had.
And those help out with the YouTube algorithm as well. So
yes.
It does come down to, if you are willing to show some support, that can make a big difference. The more people who show a little bit of support, the better. The more people who show the most support, the better. And the less people that do either of those, the less you're going to see from us. So you may not get a hot tags next week. You may not get I'll put it this way. You might not get a post show tomorrow. Because now I'm in the mood where I'm like, I don't know if I want to. And if you want me to continue to do this and all, you got to give me something it has to be worth a while to justify it, whether it is Patreon subscribers, whether it's new subscribers on YouTube, the likes on this video, the engagement on any of the different. You guys bugged me to do the Discord server. How is there not many people on that? Facebook group is the way that it is. I can put it out there and I can give you guys the options. If you don't take it, I'm not going to put the options up there anymore.
Okay, no, I'll flip this because you mentioned some dislikes on some videos. Fuck it, even if you think we suck, tell us why. I'm a big believer in, even if it's me, like, just say why you're not liking the podcast, because that's also stuff people can work on.
I put the feedback thing. How many websites do actually do a feedback survey at the end of every year?
And that, look, we're gonna cut this in a minute because I don't want to go too long. But that is one of the reasons why I tell Tony, like, he's an asset that he isn't even aware he is, because there's not a lot of people who
an ass.
care as much as Tony will when we're talking about, like, he's like, oh man, I really gotta. How are there no main event spoilers? And we're like, it's fine. Relax. That's the level of care Tony Mango puts into what he does.
And if you want me to put more care, all you got to do is give me a reason to. And if I'm
right there with you, because he's far less emotional in the moment than I am. Where if I'm not feeling it, you'll get literally a completely different person tomorrow than you will today, depending on my mood. So, these things do help, and we're not trying to guilt trip you. But as he's saying, you might not even get a post show tomorrow. I guess we got to figure that out now. And well,
it's not supposed to be just a guilt trip. It's not supposed to be something to just make you feel bad or something like that. But it's, to be perfectly honest, just the situation that we're in right now. This is the most that there's ever been a situation where a Smark moment will continue. And if you want that to stick around, you gotta show some support, because you can't say, oh man, my favorite restaurant closed down and I never went to eat there. That's how it works.
I liked the food when I was there, but I didn't go enough.
I didn't tell anybody about the restaurant, and I didn't go there to eat. So, now, if you want to eat at Smark moment, you gotta order a plate. And when it comes to the hot tags, they might end up being, if you want a piping hot plate, you might end up having to join the Patreon or something. Or it might end up being that, hey, if you guys want post shows for these things, maybe that's not going to continue anymore to be a post show. Maybe it's going to be rounded up into a hot tags thing another time. Or maybe it's going to be a combo edition of things, because maybe we reach a point where I only have an hour a week to be able to dedicate to this. Or maybe we don't have anything at all. So if you do enjoy the content, let me know in the comments below. Let me know on the Facebook page. Let me know on Twitter. Post it in the Discord. There's like 50 different ways for you to be able to do that. And then subscribe, hit the like button, donate to the Patreon or the YouTube channel membership, hit the thanks button, use the super chats, do something to help support us. Stand up for WWE, do that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I've been enjoying
the
more.
Regulars. We do.
I've been enjoying more WWE content lately than I have in a while. So I really would rather not be in a situation where this is like, oh, and then now, after years of being like, oh, it's kind of a struggle. Now we don't get to talk about the fun things. So for all the people that are still sticking around listening to this, instead of just the ones that are like, oh, it's a downer and screw these guys for being like that at the end of a pay-per-view thing. Hey, I don't know what to tell you, but
we do appreciate the ones who we know enjoy the content. It's just a little more support goes a long way. Yeah.
And we will see how any of this plays out, because I don't know how any of this is going to play out, but eventually you'll find out. And when you are following us all over those different platforms you mentioned, I don't know when you're going to find out where and when, but stay tuned. Make sure that if you do want to see an AEW Double or Nothing post show tomorrow, you let me know, and stay tuned for that. Set up your email alerts. Make sure you check out smarkatmoment.com. Follow your all the other things that I mentioned on the A Mango Tree link tree. Follow Fanboys Anonymous. Stay tuned for anything you find at Tony Mango on all these different platforms and stuff. And let us know what you thought about King and Queen of the Ring. That is what this post show is, after all. So I was underwhelmed about that. I'm annoyed about the email I got in the meantime, which soured my mood. And
well, we're gonna cut this. Follow me at Dude Fleece. I'm apparently gonna talk to Tony about this email and see if we're even gonna be a thing tomorrow.
We'll see. At the very least, for right now, this has been another Smark Out moment. Maybe the last Smark Out moment, and we're being counted out.